Our solutions for quiz 6. Nope. Quiz 7 for Math 65. We're given three things to factor. The first one is x squared minus 11x plus 4. Leading coefficient's not a 1, so we want to use our factoring by grouping method. We want to first find two numbers that add to our middle term, negative 11, and multiply to a times c, in this case 24. One way to do that is to list everything that multiplies to 24. 1 times 24 would work, 2 times 12 would work, 3 times 8 would work, and 4 times 6 would work. And then look at those pairs. Let's see, we want it to multiply to 24, so they either both have to be positive or both negative. But we want to add to negative 11, so they both have to be negative. I think that'll be this pair right here, as long as we make them both negative. So then we want to replace this with 6x squared, maybe right over here. We want to rewrite our equation, but instead of negative 11x, we want to write that those two numbers we found were negative 3 and negative 8. So we want to write negative 3x and minus 8x plus 4. That order doesn't matter. You could have written negative 8x minus 3x. Either way, you'll get the same answer. But what you want to do now is factor by grouping. So you got four terms here. Take the first two, look for the greatest common factor. In this case, it's 3x. If you pull out a 3x from both those terms, you're left with 2x minus 1. And then what you got to do is pull out something from these next two terms so that you'll be left with 2x minus 1. And what that something is, in this case, is negative 4. So then you have two terms, and they both have a 2x minus 1 in them. So you can pull out that 2x minus 1, and you'd be left with 3x minus 4. Factor, we factored. Doesn't say you have to check it, so if you don't want to check it, you don't have to check it. I don't want to check it. All right, the second one is a sum of cubes. X cubed is a perfect cube, and 8 is a perfect cube. So what you need to do this one is a little formula. If you have it memorized, it makes the problem pretty easy. If you don't, it makes the problem pretty hard. But what you want to get is that a cubed plus b cubed is a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. The way I remember those is these signs are the same, these signs are different, this sign's always positive. So you can apply that with kind of our a is x and our b is 2, and what I get is this thing is equal to x plus 2 times x squared minus 2x plus 4. And we're all done. Factors, it factors to this. If you feel like checking your answer, you can, but you don't have to. So I won't. Third one, factor this mess, and it says, hint, you should end up with 3 factors. Similar to what we did on our perfect problem, we have a difference of squares here. So x to the 4th is a perfect square. It's x squared times x squared. And 81 is a perfect square, so we can write it as x squared plus 9 and x squared minus 9. And the advantage to doing that is this second factor here, x squared minus 9, is itself a difference of squares. It's x is a perfect square, and 9 is a perfect square, so I can write it as x plus 3 times x minus 3. And now what I've done is I've factored this into 3 factors. And again, you could check your answer by multiplying things back together, but I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to. I'm going to call this my answer and call that the end of the quiz.